Alright, so you've just clicked on a video that I'm confident will change your life for the better.
AI's potential impact on employment that could soon be felt.
Right now, businesses are in an all-out race to implement AI as quickly and efficiently as possible. This is because AI went from being a cool toy to help you write emails for work or essays for school to now a technology that is genuinely replacing entire teams within multi-million-dollar businesses. And now more than ever, it's extremely clear to any competent business owner that the companies that implement AI now and set up a strong foundation and will move faster, operate leaner, and quite simply outperform the businesses that don't. But here's the thing that nobody tells you. There's a massive window within the AI space that everyone actually making money is simply gatekeeping. The current AI space is dominated by technical people who have no idea how to sell these AI systems and workflows to normal business owners. The reason being, with the rapid advancements in AI technology, the general consensus has shifted from only tech-savvy business owners who were the ones implementing AI to now every single business owner knowing and understanding that I need to implement AI now or I'm going to get left behind. The ones who have figured this out and understood that there's a huge opportunity for non-technical people to sell these AI systems to normal business owners have been making millions of dollars. With that being said, in this full guide video, I'll show you exactly how to arbitrage AI by finding a development team so you could focus on what truly matters, which is selling these AI systems. First, we'll build your foundational understanding of AI agents and how they actually work, because even though you're not the one on the back end actually building and developing these AI systems, you need to know how they actually work so that you can confidently sell them to business owners. We're going to cover what they are, how they work under the hood, and the key concepts you need to understand before you actually start to sell these AI agents. Second, we'll dive into my 4 top selling AI agents with their respective best niches so you can understand what's hot on the market right now and what agent you should start to sell. Third, I'll give you my proven sales blueprint to generate a plethora of high quality leads without having to spend money on ads or cold call. And then I'll show you a live sales call of a $45,000 deal I recently closed for my agency Vocal Chat. And if you just want to skip the entire process by implementing my 7-figure SOPs and team tomorrow, then click the link below to apply. Now, if you're new to the channel, let me quickly share why I'm qualified to teach you how to sell AI agents. My name is Zach Kirk, and 2 years ago, I started learning AI with no prior experience in the field. I taught myself how to run this entire business model solo. So I'm talking marketing, sales, onboarding, development, actually building out these agents on the back end, and then all the work that comes with actually implementing a real agent within a real business. This led me to starting Vocal Chat AI, which is my AI automation agency where we focus on building AI systems and AI agents for businesses. Our services range from basic customer support agents to full AI SaaS platforms and operating systems. At Vocal Chat, we've worked with publicly traded companies and even more recently, a company doing $30 million in revenue per month. I also founded Limitless, which is the only sales-focused program that gives AI agency owners access to back-end development teams who are ex-Google employees that actually know what they're doing, not off Fiverr or Upwork. To put it more simply, it's everything one would need to start, grow, and scale an AI agency right now without writing a single line of code. So everything I'm going to teach you today is exactly what helped me achieve all this, so let's dive right in. Okay, so step 1 in learning to sell AI agents is actually understanding what an AI agent is in the first place. Because the term gets thrown around everywhere these days, AI agent this, AI agent that, and every tech company is talking about them, but what actually is an AI agent? When I first started learning about this stuff a few years back, it was also very confusing to me, so let me share with you the clearest definition that really helped it click for me. An AI agent is a digital worker that can understand instructions and take actions to complete tasks. So in a simple way, just like businesses have employees, an AI agent is sort of a digital employee that can do the same thing they can. But the interesting part is you can prompt them yourself and you can make them do exactly what you want. It's like being able to construct a human worker from scratch tailored to exactly what that employee is used for. And unlike human employees, these digital AI agents cost a fraction of what a human does. They also can work 24/7. They never get tired. They don't call in sick, and you can duplicate them. Whenever you need more more capacity. So now I hope you can see the appeal to this that business owners have when choosing between implementing a digital employee that costs cheaper and runs more leaner and efficiently than hiring another employee that costs $60,000 to $100,000 a year and not really being able to scale. Now here's why this matters right now specifically, because all major tech leaders are under the same alignment that AI agents will go mainstream in 2026. We saw the CEO of Microsoft say that 2026 will be the most pivotal year for AI, and that we're entering a phase of widespread diffusion. NVIDIA, Google, they're all saying the same thing. The point is that this isn't some far-off future technology. This stuff is happening right now. And understanding how these things work so that you can sell them puts you ahead of the majority of people. Now, to understand why AI agents are such a big deal, we need to take a look at where we're coming from. Because you probably encountered all sorts of chatbots previously. You go to any website nowadays and there's a little chat widget at the bottom right-hand side of the corner saying, "Hi, how can I help you today?" You type in any FAQs that you have for that specific business on their website and bam, it'll shoot you out an answer. These kind of basic chatbots have been around for years, but here's the thing, they're pretty limited and can really only do one thing, which is respond with some information. The way I like to think about it, a chatbot is like a waiter that can only recite the menu to you. So it could tell you what they're offering, but they can't actually take your order. They can't bring you your food, they can't get a tip from you or anything like that. They just give you the information that you're looking for. But AI agents are internally fundamentally different. Say you go to a website and you want to book an appointment with that business. If you ask a regular chatbot, "Hey, I need to book an appointment," it'll say something like, "Our regular hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's the only times where you can book an appointment." And that's it, just some information, and you still have to go and do all the work yourself. But if you ask an AI agent that same question, it could actually look over the calendar, find available slots, and actually get you booked into an appointment. And all this is automatically in the matter of seconds. Here's the main difference. Agents don't just respond with directions, they actually take action and do something. And this variability to take action is what makes AI agents so powerful, meaning that we could sell them for such high ticket. They're not just fancy chatbots that can do a couple of things. Don't get me wrong, I've sold so many of these back in my day. I say back in my day like I've been in the AI space for 40 years. But 2 years ago, the space was so different, and I was wrapping these chatbots up as something special. But AI agents can do real actions like searching through databases, sending emails, updating spreadsheets, booking appointments, and so much more. And don't worry, like I said, we'll get into my top selling AI offers later on in this video, but I wanted to highlight how crazy the AI agent opportunity is right now and give you a basic understanding of what these agents are so that you could sell them properly. All right, so now that you understand what AI agents are and how they're different from basic chatbots, let's look under the hood and understand how they actually work. Because just like humans need certain things to do their jobs, like a brain to think, memory to remember, and tools to actually work with, AI agents need specific components to function as well. There are 5 key parts that make up an AI agent. Let me walk you through each one. First, every agent needs a brain. In the AI space, we call these large language models, or for short, LLMs. You've probably heard of these before. You got ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic, and Gemini from Google. These are all LLMs, and you could think of an LLM as a super intelligent assistant who can understand your instructions in plain English and figure out how to get things done from that. It's basically the intelligence that powers everything else, and without the brain, nothing else will work. Secondly, the brain needs instructions on how to actually behave, and this is what we call the prompt. So writing a prompt is basically how you program the behavior of your agent. So back in the day, and I'm talking like 5 years ago, people had to code to get instructions. Nowadays, we could just write things in basic English, which is a prompt, and we'll get exactly what we're looking for. This is what has made AI so accessible to everyone now. Because people think, oh, AI dropped when ChatGPT dropped. No, AI's been around for a long time, but you couldn't just write and prompt things in plain English and get a result. You had to code and do a bunch of technical shit. Thirdly, agents need memory. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone who completely forgets everything that you're trying to say. It'd be impossible to get anything done. Memory allows your agents to remember your past conversations, keep track of what you're actually working on, and build on previous conversations. Fourth, we have knowledge. Now, the AI models like ChatGPT and Claude are trained on massive amounts of data. And all this data is from the internet, but that data has a cutoff point. And there's a lot of stuff that they just don't know. But more importantly, they don't know anything about the specific business owner you're trying to help. They don't have context about how that business operates on a daily basis. They don't know about their products, they don't know about their services, they don't know about their policies and their pricing. So just like training a brand new employee who comes into the business knowing nothing prior, you have to give them all that information, train them based off that data, and then they'll understand how things operate. So you can give your AI agent more information and more data from things like PDF documents, spreadsheets with a bunch of information, transcriptions of calls that you previously had with other customers. Without this added knowledge, your agents will be limited to just general information that anyone could get online and really couldn't handle the specific tasks that businesses really need. And last but not least, fifth, and this is the most exciting part, tools. Tools are what transform an AI agent from something that can just chat to something that can actually get stuff done. Think about tools like giving your digital employee access to different softwares and platforms. Just like you might give a new hire access to your emails, calendar, CRM, you give an AI agent access to digital tools so they can take real action. Update databases, send messages and information, create documents, and make phone calls. Essentially, anything that you could do on your computer, you could potentially give your AI agent access to do that as well. The really powerful part is when agents use multiple tools to solve complex problems. Just like how we use different websites and apps when we're doing our own work. All right, so we covered how AI agents work, what they are, and how they actually use tools to get things done. Now we need to look at the different ways AI agents are actually used within the real world. Because not all AI agents work in the same way, and there's basically two main categories that you need to understand. First, you've got conversational agents, and these are agents that humans interact with directly. So someone is actually there chatting with the agent, asking it questions, getting responses, and having a full-on conversation with it. You've probably seen these in a bunch of places already, like chat widgets on websites where you type messages back and forth, WhatsApp bots that you can text, Instagram DMs that respond automatically, or even voice agents that you can actually call and have a conversation with. In all these cases, there's what we call a human in the loop that's actually sending messages to the agent, and then the agent is responding back. OpenAI's custom GPTs are a great example of this. You can create an agent and then chat with it directly on the ChatGPT interface. Secondly, we've got automated agents, and this is where things get a bit more interesting. Because with automated agents, there's no human typing in telling the agent what to do. It's actually a part of a larger workflow, and that gets triggered automatically when certain things happen. If you think about it this way, conversational agents wait for a human to tell them to do something, while automated agents wait for an event or a condition to be met, and then they get triggered. For example, you can have an agent that triggers whenever a new lead fills out a form on your website. The moment that form submission comes through, the agent wakes up and does some research on that form and decides whether or not it's a qualified lead, and then updates the CRM. All of this without any human having to do really anything. They don't have to press a button, and they don't have to send any message to it. Or you could have an agent that runs every morning at 9 a.m. and checks your calendar and briefs you on any meetings you have, and then sends you an email based off its findings. Again, completely automatic. You didn't have to ask it to do anything. It just runs on its own accord. This is a very important distinction to understand when it comes to selling AI agents, because it opens up an entirely new world of what's capable. Automated agents can handle processes that happen constantly within real businesses. These would be things that would be tedious or even impossible for humans to respond to 24/7. Understanding this distinction is very important because it shapes how you think about what is possible and what you can eventually sell to business owners. A lot of people, especially business owners, only think about AI agents that you can talk to and get help from, but they don't think about agents that can run completely in the background and help them drive new revenue, capture more leads, and scale more efficiently. Really quick, before we get into the whole really meat of this video and how to sell these AI agents for high ticket, how to build the business, what developers to use, all this stuff, I need you guys to understand, as AI agency owners, as people selling these AI agents and workflows to businesses, we need to practice what we preach. And what I mean by that is, how are you gonna sell these AI agents and create a business around it if you're not using these agents and workflows and systems within your own business to scale more efficiently? So what I'm gonna do right now is teach you how to build a Claude operating system that basically thinks exactly like you and helps you run your business. So instead of going into Claude like you're doing right now, having to re-explain yourself every single time, with this Claude operating system, it remembers everything you've ever told it about the business business. You know, I'm a consultant. I work with XYZ clients. Here are my past results. Here's my outreach strategies. How can I optimize these things? Everything you typically ask Claude when running a business, because I don't have to do everything myself. I have my team of developers who helps me with the back-end work fulfilling these jobs. I have my team of ads managers who helps me with ads, and I have my Claude operating system that thinks the exact way I do to do all the busy work so I can focus on selling and scaling my company. I need to make everyone start thinking in this manner of how can I get AI to work for me so I can focus on my highest leverage task and work more efficiently. Whether you're a business owner looking to learn AI technology to train your employees, whether you're watching this video wanting to start an AI agency but you're not technical, you still need AI to work for you so you can actually scale. If you guys want to build your Claude operating system step by step with me using my same exact template, it's down below, but without further ado, I sectioned it off into 5 parts. You don't have to directly fill this out now. I just want to walk you through it. You can fill it out over the week, but you need to understand what I'm saying here to make this agent actually effective, because a lot of the time people are training agents off things that don't really make sense and don't really move the needle. Okay, so the 5 sections are 1, identity, so who you are and what your business does. Or not even your business, just what do you do in your life? What are you spending your time on a daily basis? You might be a business owner, or you might be working for a company or wanting to escape the 9-to-5 path. So don't necessarily think of everything in terms of business, but if you do own a business, that's great. So who are you and what is your work? The second section is communication style. So how do you want AI to talk to you? Do you like direct, straight to business stuff? Do you like when it has fun, maybe send you emojis, has a sense of humor? Like I have some members in my case study program who like it direct, bam, signed a client, how much should I charge this deal for? I also have members who like it to send a ton of emojis like you're texting your girls in your group chat. Number 3 is goals and priorities. So what are you focused on right now? Not what were you thinking of in the past, not okay, in the future I want this set up. What are you right now focused on? Because AI, if it has a goal and knows what you want, it could help you towards achieving that goal. And if you give it a ton of different things, like this is what I want in the future, this is what I want in the past, it's really not gonna help very much. Number 4 is very, very important. What is your daily schedule and your non-negotiables? When are you the most productive? When do you like to do certain tasks at different times, right? So that when AI is planning stuff for you, it could take that into account. And last but not least, section 5 is avoidances. So what do you not want it to say? Be strict here and give AI what you don't want just as much as what you're looking for. And so I've left this in a system prompt template, and I've given you bracketed sections where you can put your own details. So delete any sections that don't apply to you and then paste it in those instruction boxes. So for example, it says my name is, and then you put your name, and it says I work for or I run as my own company. So you put your company or the business you work for. My clients are, or my employees are, or my team is. There's a bunch of different options based off your exact situation. So as you can see, it goes super in depth based off who you are and what you're looking to get out of it. And this can really be used for the rest of your life. Think of it like an updated file that basically has all your information and exactly what you're looking for so you can be the most efficient version of yourself. And I know this operating system section here isn't exactly what this video is about. It's not making money, it's not selling AI agents, it's not live deals that I've closed, but what you need to remember is if you understand this stuff, I have people that I know that are selling this as a consultant job. So they're selling, hey, I'll come into your business, I'll build Claude operating systems for every employee, and I'm gonna charge $500 an hour. So every skill that you can gain, even as a non-technical person, you could eventually monetize. And that's what I wanna put into your heads right now, that yes, we're trying to sell high-ticket agents. Yes, our main priority is scaling our business and making as much money as possible. But what's gonna help with that is actually knowing and understanding how some of these AI systems work so that you could sell them more efficiently. All right, people, so enough of the theory. Let's jump right into the 4 top selling AI agents right now in 2026. All right, so this graph is gonna make a ton of sense later on, but we're actually gonna start backwards. So instead of starting with the starter agents that you should sell right as a beginner, we're actually gonna talk about the upsells, which to be honest, make you the most amount of money. So the first upsell agent, and guys, this agent has 100% made me the most amount of money over the last 6 months, is a quoting agent. And you guys might be asking, Zach, why are these quoting agents so expensive? How do you sell these for $10, $20, even $30,000 up front. And what you need to think about when selling high-ticket AI agents, actually any AI agent in general, is this agent saving the business owner either time or money? In the case of quoting agents, business owners are genuinely spending anywhere from 2 to 3 hours every single day sending out free quotes. No way it takes that long, right? Well, let's break it down. So let's say a business owner gets 30 calls every single day and they answer and pick up 15 that are actually qualified. The reason being, and we're gonna get into it, how they could actually capitalize on all these calls later on, but business owners are busy and they can't get to every call. But in this case, let's say they get to half of their calls and answer 15, and out of those 15 calls, they send every single one a free quote. So that's 15 free quotes a day, and each quote takes 10 minutes. And the reason these quotes take so long, because let's say in the case of a painter, that customer calls in, they're asking questions like, okay, how much is it gonna cost for this specific room to get painted? Here are the dimensions, here's the specific paint I want, here's the labor rates. There's so much that goes into it. So each one of those quotes take 10 minutes, they're hyper personalized, and you can't really copy and paste quotes when it comes to painting and auto repair and all these service-based niches. So these quotes take a ton of time. So 15 quotes a day, 10 minutes every single day. That's 150 minutes that the business owner has to spend every single day sending out free quotes. So in this use case we use, this business owner spends 2 hours a day giving quotes, which equates to 12 hours a week and 48 hours a month. That's a crazy amount of time for the business owner who should be focusing on the highest leverage tasks within the business to be spending on free quotes that don't directly make him money. So when I go to the business owner and say, hey, look, you're spending 2 hours every single day sending out free quotes, I can build you a quoting agent that has the knowledge base of your business, the labor rates, the equipment costs, whatever you use to price your jobs, I could build you an AI agent knowledge base that houses all that information. So when a customer comes in looking for a quote, all you have to do on the back end is fill out a couple of things and the AI agent will shoot you out a completely accurate quote. Is the reason why I'm able to charge 10 to 15K for this agent upfront with no questions asked, because the pain is there. The time spent giving free quotes every single day is there, and that's what I attack on the sales call, and it's a no-brainer. We're gonna get into the sales process later on, but I wanna preface this right now. You cannot sell based off the features and capabilities of your AI agents. You need to sell based off the pain that business owner is experiencing on a daily basis. Now is where we go backwards, because to put it simply, no business owner in the right mind is gonna pay you 10 to 15K for an AI agent, even if their pain is there, if they don't know who you are and they don't trust AI. And that's where the foot in the door agents or the starter agents come in. These agents are meant for that first initial pitch. Whether you're on the phone with the business owner for the first time, or it's the first time you went to see them in person, right? And they have a bunch of questions about AI, but they don't trust you to pay you 10 to 15K yet. You start with the low, no-risk agent that only provides upside to their business that doesn't cost that much money. So in this case, if I did prior research on the business and I wanted to sell them a quoting agent because I knew they had the pain point of spending a ton of time every single day sending out these quotes, then I would initially start with selling this business owner a Google review agent. Google review agents are the perfect starter because, put it simply, the business owner takes on no risk when implementing this agent and it doesn't cost that much. Think about it. You go to that business owner and you pitch them a Google review agent and you say, hey, look, I saw your Google profile and it didn't look too published. You only had 36 Google reviews, and I scrolled to the top of the homepage and the businesses that showed up for your respective niche when I search up plumbers in Miami all had 500 to 1,000 Google reviews. I could build you a Google Review AI agent that automatically will text back every single customer after you complete a job, prompting them to leave a Google review. The reason this agent is so valuable is because the customers aren't directly interacting with AI. They're not calling it back and forth and speaking to it. They're not texting it. It just sends out a message automatically. They say, hey, look, this guy did a good service for me. I'm gonna leave a 5-star review, which is gonna skyrocket them to the top of their homepage and bring them way more leads as a result. Pitching something like this initially, which is very low ticket, but you could actually make a lot of money from, because if you stack on 10 clients paying you $500 a month, that's $5,000 a month in recurring revenue. Builds trust with the business owner and shows them that they can implement AI without it messing up their business, right? A lot of people have pre-limiting beliefs on AI. They don't trust it and they don't think that it could actually bring them more revenue. But once you implement something very low ticket, show them the capabilities of AI, then you could upsell them on that 12K agent easy. Pairing the Google Review agent with the quoting agent is a no-brainer because they both follow the same principles of the customer not directly interacting with AI, which provides the business owner zero to no risk, right? Now we're gonna jump into my overall top-selling AI agent over the last 2.5 years. Like I said, quoting agents have boomed for me recently, but AI receptionists have been there from the very start and continue to make me a ton of money. The reason this agent is different from the quoting agent is because it directly interacts with the customers. They're speaking to it on the phone. Every single lead that comes into the business talks to AI, which is scary for a lot of business owners to think about. But at the same time, it is so valuable for business owners to implement because going back to the quoting agent example, 15 out of every 30 calls coming in weren't getting answered because the business owner was busy. If even a low percentage of all those missed calls became clients, let's say 5 out of those 15 missed calls actually became clients, because you need to remember these customers were showing intent. Remember, they searched up the business, I need a plumber in Miami. They filled all that information out and they called that business. That showed intent. So 5 out of 15 is actually a very low number, which is below 50% of actually closed deals. So 5 out of every 15 leads calling in would have became clients because they showed intent, they searched up the business, and they called looking for their service. And let's say on the low end, that business's average job is $200. And remember, these are service-based businesses we're dealing with, so oftentimes it's way higher. That means that the 5 clients that were missed every single day would have spent $200 with the business, like I said, which is on the low end, meaning that that business is losing $1,000 a day off missed revenue because they can't get to the phone. And in this case, $1,000 a day in missed revenue equates to $30,000 every single month that that business is missing out on. And this isn't an extreme case or anything like that. Like, this happens a lot. Business owners can't get to the phone, especially service-based business owners, because they're under a car or they're painting or their hands are dirty. Like, they can't pick up every single phone call, and they don't have a receptionist because they can't justify spending $80,000 to $100,000 a year for someone to simply sit there and answer phone calls. It's not a good solution. So think about this. Before, with the quoting agent, I said that that business owner is wasting a ton of time every single day. But with the case of the AI receptionist, the business owner is wasting out on a ton of money because they're missing phone calls that's directly linked to missed revenue, where an AI receptionist could answer every single phone call, work for 24/7, book meetings, route calls, do everything a regular receptionist could do for 1/10 the price. So with that being said, I'd sell AI receptionists for $5,000 to $10,000 up front, but along with that, I'd pair a $1,000 to $2,000 monthly retainer. The reason for this retainer is there's a ton of different expenses and little things that come along with an AI receptionist. You have to pay for the minutes used on Retailer or Vappy. You have to pay for a bunch of different stuff alongside the developers actually having to do maintenance and make sure it's running perfectly. All right, so now you may be asking, Zach, so the AI receptionist is the end goal for the money-making category, but what's the starter agent that you could pair this with to make it an easier sale? And that, my friends, is the off-hours AI agent. And the reason this is so valuable is because, like I said before, a lot of the business owners don't fully trust voice AI. They don't think it can handle every single one of their calls, and you need to remember, business owners feed their family off these calls. That's how they make their money. So if AI is messing up, that's gonna directly lose them a ton of money. So that's why I would always recommend starting with the off-hours agent. You say to the business owner, hey, look, during the hours of 5 p.m. to 6 a.m., you're not working and you're still getting a ton of calls because your number is linked in a bunch of places. Let me implement my off-hours receptionist to answer all these calls and book you extra appointments. This means that the receptionist isn't messing with your leads during the hours in which you would have answered the calls. It's only messing with leads that would have gone unanswered. After you implement that AI agent for a couple of months, the business owner will see and believe in that AI agent. It'll see all the data, it can listen to the calls, and they'll see, hey, shit, this could actually be implemented full-time into my business and make a difference. It could save me money. Actually, in this case, it could generate me more money because I'm missing all these phone calls, and I know it won't mess with my customers or say anything wrong because we train the knowledge base perfectly. With that being said, I'd charge $1,000 a month for this agent. Now, I wouldn't think about making money directly. I'd think, okay, this is my first step to building a relationship with this business owner to later upsell them on that full-time AI receptionist. Okay, so now you know the 4 top-selling AI agents for me right now, and you know how to position yourself. But that prompts the question, and it's what a lot of people ask, what is the best niche to then sell these AI agents to? And my answer to the best niche is there's not one. You need to think about what the best niche is for you in particular. And the reason for that is because Me, for example, I grew up around the mechanic space. My dad was a mechanic, my uncle was a mechanic, so I knew that they had the pain point of always being on the phone and always sending out free quotes. So instead of pitching an AI receptionist that could answer FAQs like 99% of the AI space would cold call that niche in, I pitched them a quoting agent because I knew my dad would spend hours every single day. Hey dad, what are you doing? Setting out free quotes. So I knew they had the pain point and I capitalized on that. And I've worked with over 10 of these businesses now. You need to leverage your experience. You need to use whatever you've done in the past, whatever job you've had, whatever you have experience in, to leverage over your competition to beat them out, because you're gonna pitch these business owners at a better angle because you actually know what they're dealing with. And obviously there's the core niches, so the different sectors like the fitness space with Pilates studios, gyms, all those type of businesses that have money, that get a ton of bookings. Maybe you sell them a reactivation agent that cold calls all the leads that came into a free class saying, hey look, I saw you came into a free class. Did you like it? Like you didn't sign up for the membership. Would you like to come to another free class and get that lead re-engaged? And then there's the service-based niche. So plumbers, HVAC, construction, all those businesses that deal with high ticket jobs that maybe don't have the systems in place like an AI receptionist or a quoting agent because they're not as technical, which will save them eventually a bunch of time and money after investing in you to build out one of these agents for them. Okay, so now we know the niche and the best AI agents to sell to that niche. Let's jump right into the proven sales framework along with the $45,000 deal I recently closed. Okay, so typically in these YouTube videos, you'll have someone like me walking you through a back-end build on how to build an AI receptionist, which honestly provides no value to you as a promising business owner learning technology. Like, there is no value to sitting in NAN or retail AI learning these back-end builds when you're never gonna make money from it. So I'm gonna walk you through while also having you think about where our ideal leads actually hang out. So you need to think about it. Let's start with cold calling. With cold calling, do you honestly think if you're on the phone, pretend you're the business owner, put yourself in the business owner's shoes. Is a business owner going to say yes when a random person is cold calling them that they have no idea exists and saying, hey, sir, are you interested in my AI receptionist? It could answer calls 24/7. I know you're on the phone right now having to deal with this call when you could be working. Sure, that is a decent pitch. But the business owner doesn't even know about AI technology. They don't even know this stuff exists. So what business owner in the right mind with their busy day, they're stressed out, they're a service-based business owner, they answer that phone, they get pitched, they're gonna hang up immediately. Because put it simply, that business owner isn't interested in what you're selling them. You're selling them something that they don't understand. One, most of the time if you're selling window cleaning, you knock on the door, they at least understand, okay, you wanna clean my windows. You know what? No, I'm not interested. It's kind of expensive and I'm not really interested in you cleaning my windows, right? They understand what you're selling them and they're not interested because of the price or something like this. When you're selling AI, one, this shit's expensive. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 up front is crazy, but at the same time, they don't even understand what you're trying to sell them. And that's why 99% of the people cold calling will never get a client. So let's cross off cold calling, and the next most popular way to get clients is ads. And yes, ads work extremely well in the AI space. I myself have a $10,000 a month ad spend, sometimes even more, and they absolutely crush. But you're a beginner or you're looking to scale your business past 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, ads aren't a good option because they're simply expensive and you don't have your sales process down, so a lot of the time you're just leaking money. So if cold calling doesn't work and running ads just isn't viable, where do our ideal leads hang out, right? So I want you to think about it right now. What business, it can be online or it could be in person, has a plethora of these leads within their warm network that these leads go to work with, that we could partner up with and say, hey, look, you have all these businesses that you're currently working with. Why not refer them to me? My AI systems can benefit the businesses that you're working with alongside, and we could both win, and you could get a hefty commission from referring them. And the answer to that very question is marketing agencies. The reason marketing agencies are the perfect way for you to get your first couple of clients is because, think about it, marketing agencies' sole job sole number one job is to bring service-based businesses leads, right? Service-based businesses are like, hey, look, I'm a local business. I want to boost my online presence. I want to get more leads in the door. I need you to help me market my business, and I'm going to pay you a retainer or a flat rate or whatever they pay these marketing agencies. So marketing agencies have a huge warm network, if they're a good marketing agency, of businesses who are paying them to bring them more leads and who trust them. So if you go to marketing agencies and say, hey, look, you're making good money right now. You're bringing all these businesses a ton of leads. Refer me to these businesses. I have AI systems that can help these businesses scale. So you will not only make more money because I'll give you a percentage off everyone you refer, but these businesses will also skyrocket because these AI systems will help them scale. Nobody in the AI space has talked about it because I found it out myself, and I hate to be cocky, but it made me so much money because at one point I was partnered up with 10 marketing agencies, all referring me clients. So they would win because they'd get $2-3 grand a pop off every referral because I'm selling 10K AI agents, and I would win because I didn't have to cold outreach for hours a day. Leads came to me like I was running ads without having to spend a ton of money on ads like you typically would have. There's a bunch of different ways you can partner up with these marketing agencies. The way I like to is just over Instagram. I have a good profile, I have a lot of followers, and I'm very reputable in the AI space. So when I'm reaching out to these marketing agencies and saying, hey, look, I have a potential partnership, it would benefit both of us, 9 out of 10 times they'll hop on that call. If you're starting from complete scratch, don't have Instagram, don't have these platforms, then the next best way would be to go in person, right? There are a lot of marketing businesses in your local neighborhood that help scale the businesses around you, right? So if you go to that business and say, hey, look, you're offering these marketing systems. On top of you getting a commission off everyone you refer to me, you can also say that you help with AI implementation. So you can not only make a nice check from me off that commission off every client you refer me to, but you can also win over your competition and sign more clients because you could say you also help with AI implementation and helping them use AI to leverage their skills and make more money. Like, this is a crazy opportunity, and I don't know how many people are gonna be watching this video, so please take advantage of it now. Reach out to as many as you can, set up your business, set up your website, look reputable, and you will make so much money. Okay, so with that being said and lead gen out of the way, let's jump straight into the sales pitch that I use to sell these high ticket $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 agents for while also building trust. So my sales approach consists of 3 different phases with a bunch of other information layered in between. Phase 1 is consulting. Here you get on a free consulting call with the business owner with the sole purpose of building trust. And what I mean by this and why 90% of the AI space fails when trying to sell AI agents is because they hop on that first call trying to sell that business owner a 15 to 10K agent when that business owner doesn't understand this technology. They need to understand what this technology is, how it could actually work within their business, and then they could be sold on it. With the window cleaning example earlier, they already know what window cleaning is, so when you try to sell them window cleaning, it's only about the price. But with AI, they need to learn about the technology, and that's where the consulting phase takes place. And the beauty with initially starting with a consulting call is typically the business owner has their guard up the entire call because you're trying to pitch them. But if you start with a consulting call, it's free, they don't have to pay anything, so they're asking a ton of questions. They're not closed off because they want to learn about this AI technology. So your only goal in mind here shouldn't be making money, it should be teaching them about AI and making you earn their trust. They're gonna ask questions. They're gonna say, hey, can we implement AI here? Oh, how does it work within this part? Oh, can it answer the phone? Oh, can it help with my customer support? They've heard about this AI technology for years, and now is the first time where they have an expert on the line that they can ask their personalized questions to, and that's why it's such a game changer. Use Claude, screen share, show them how this AI technology works. Remember, they didn't grow up with ChatGPT in school. Right when it came out, they didn't learn everything about it because they used it a ton. And most of the time, these business owners know nothing about this technology, and that's why you can probably see now why selling them right away is such a bad idea. And I want to make something very clear. If you're a beginner, if you don't have case studies, if you have no results, do not charge for this consulting call. I personally would not charge $1 for this consulting call until I was above $20,000 per month in recurring revenue. You right now have no case studies and no results. So the way you build your trust is by showing that business owner that you're an expert and they could ask you any question. And that'll bring you right into phase 2, which is auditing. So auditing takes place after that consulting call. So you talk to them, you taught them about AI, and you earn their trust. Then you jump into auditing. Typically audits are paid. However, if you're brand new, I still wouldn't charge for an audit. And my AI audit, explained simply, is consulting is when you teach them about AI. An audit is when you teach them about AI within their business. So we talked about this AI technology. Now we're gonna talk about what specifically could be implemented into your business to see the most results. So this will ultimately get the business owner thinking about, okay, where can I implement AI within my company? Now I understand this technology. Now I understand how crazy it is. I need to implement this to destroy my competition. So you show them where and what AI agents would fit best within their business. So if they're a mechanic, you say, what are you spending the most time doing? Okay, shit, you're spending the most time quoting. I think a quoting agent that would save you hours a day would be the most useful. The entire point of the AI audit is to put numbers behind that business owner's pain. So if they're dealing with a problem that AI can fix, you need to show them how much that problem is costing them and then how AI can fix that problem. Okay, so you're missing X many calls, and out of those X calls you miss, you typically sign this many clients and your average job is this price. This is costing you this much every single day, this much a month, this much a year. This is crazy money that you're losing out on. Here's how AI can save you that money back. And last but not least, phase 3, which is finally when you're able to upsell and sell that client on an AI agent. Now, remember when I told you there's layers between each phase. When selling an AI agent, when you get to the point when you're upselling off that AI audit, you don't start with the high ticket agents we talked about early on. You start with a low risk agent that's cheap and affordable. Show them that this AI technology actually works in the real world. Once you build that next layer of trust with the business owner, you're then able to sell a 10, 15, 20K agent, no questions asked, because you built so much trust on that consulting call, so much trust with that audit, and then another layer of trust with that initial AI agent that requires them to take on no risk. Then it's a 100% no-brainer for them to take the next step with you and implement a high-ticket agent. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump straight into what I think is the most anticipated part of this video, which is the $45,000 AI agent package I recently closed. Now, I think a lot of people are gonna skip straight here just because no one online really shows this stuff, because these deals are so large. They're not like the typical deal where you hop on a call and it's a one call thing, an hour and a half, and they send you $5,000 up front. This takes time. There's multiple calls that are involved, and it's a longer process because you're dealing with a higher net worth individual who wants to do their due diligence before the call. But before we get into the live sales call recording and break it down step by step, I wanna give you some context on this client. I'm talking what niche they're in, who they are, and why they're looking for an AI agent, so you could have the background information so you're not going into this call completely blind, because I wasn't either. Okay, so this specific client was the top sales rep at a personal injury law firm doing $50 million a year in revenue. Him and his business partner are since retired, and they've been looking into the AI space because from their experience within this niche, there's a huge lead quality issue. Now, the reason for this is because if you've ever seen an ad for a PI law firm, basically on the billboard, and it says, if you've ever got hit by a car, please reach out to this number, you could be entitled to a shit ton of money. Right? So there's a bunch of these ads everywhere, and there's a phone number that they say to call, right? So there's tons of these numbers going through, and they have to have people answering the phone, talking to these people and qualifying them to then book in with the sales rep, which was what this guy was. So he was that sales rep to eventually hop on calls with the quality leads. But he did have to work his way up, and what he found was there's so much trial and error when it comes to that triage call. There's so much that goes into it, right? Because you're talking to so many unqualified people, it's such a long process, and on top of that, you don't really know who you're dealing with. When you're on that sales call, when you already vetted that client, it's a much easier sale because they're very quality, and we've gone through the due diligence of making sure they're someone that our firm would want to work with. So I want to break it down slowly. This client in particular worked for a very large law firm as the top sales rep. Now, he would close deals for these PI lawyers to then get the job, get commission off, and he'd make a bunch of money. But what he found out was they had to deal with a ton of these bad quality leads, like I said, from those ads, didn't really vet them. So what he came to me looking for was a lead gen process automated by AI, so there wasn't all these manual hours that went into triage and qualifying these leads to then hop on a sales call with. So the current process of this law firm before we integrated our AI systems was they're running these ads, and these ads push the clients to a landing page. Now on that landing page, there's a video sales letter from the top attorney basically explaining, hey, if you ever got hit by a car, this is what you need to do, and this is how much money you can make. It's a 8 to 20 minute video basically explaining their entire pitch to these people to sign them. From that VSL, there's typically a form where they get their name, number, and situation, so some background information on what exactly happened to that client. After they get that information, here's where AI will make the biggest difference. They typically would have to have an employee who calls up these people, qualifies them, understands their situation, and if that person is qualified, then they'd book them into a sales call with, in this case, the guy who I'm talking to, which was the top closer. Every single service-based business or business in general who shifted to have more of an online presence follows the same exact funnel system. And the biggest pain point lies within that employee call and qualify. That's what a lot of people call the triage. But anyways, that's enough context. Let's actually jump straight into the live sales call. But I think the best way to handle this and show off exactly how to close one of these deals is to play an audio clip, and then we'll walk through exactly how I handled it.
So we want a very specific, we want a funnel that we can match up with any of, that will be able to be cohesive with any type of marketing campaigns that they're running from the very beginning. That's the first idea of our business, right?
Okay, so as we can see here, this client is asking for a lot. First, he wants to build a marketing and lead gen system for every single law firm that he works with. So he wants to white label this product. And what I mean by that is he has a law firm that he sold for over 30 years. He recently retired from that business. So what he wants to do is build that business that he already has a connection with, this lead gen system that qualifies the people coming in with an outbound agent, has the whole marketing campaign connected to the qualifier, and from there, he wants to see that this product works, and then he wants to white label this product to every single law firm that he can. If you don't know what white labeling is, it's essentially when you build a product for one person, they have the licensing for that product, and that person's allowed to sell it to a bunch of other people. So think about it in this case, we build the marketing and lead gen system, and then that system could be sold to any law firm in the country. And I need you guys to understand the AI space, and especially sales within the AI space, isn't about handling objections. It's not, oh shoot, they said this, let me emotionally manipulate them like this. No, see how I'm listening to what he's looking for. I'm giving him the microphone and I'm letting him explain to me exactly what he wants, and I'm just there to guide him through with my knowledge on the subject. And most people do this wrong. They're trying to be the leader of this call. They're trying to guide the business owner to say, I think you should implement this AI agent. It would make you the most money. It would do this, this, and this. And of course, sometimes you do want to be a little pushy and say, I genuinely believe this agent would work the best. But in this case, like you heard him say, he has an idea for this business. What he wants is this lead gen system. He wants to upsell different AI agents later on, but he wants this basic level system to be built out. He wants to see it working within the company that he worked for, and then they could expand to any horizon they're looking to.
So I would imagine that there's a lot of room to grow those, like build CRMs as well and include that in some sort of package. So we're going to be using those as more like an upsell. But I think, Eric, and correct me if I'm wrong, the main focus is the funnel. How was that going to get be cohesive with any marketing campaigns, or is it a situation where we can even create some of the marketing campaigns utilizing maybe some of your vendors and maybe some of the vendors that we find? I think that's the most important part. And then the second portion of that is an additional upsell for the assistant AI and things along those lines.
Okay, so bam, let me set the scene. Set up for these guys in particular. We need to make them their own custom CRM. From there, we need to build them out a landing page, have them script a VSL, obviously using Poppy AI. And after we script the VSL, then we need to build an outbound AI agent that cold calls all the leads right when they fill out that type form on the VSL, qualify them, and then have a book a call link. Basic standard build out. Now I think I charged around $15,000 for this, but we'll get into the whole pricing sheet later on. Then from that basic build out, we need to integrate a white labeled system and basically have them be able to copy and paste this with a couple of different informations or different niches based off exactly who they're selling to, and be able to mass produce this exact funnel to everyone. Okay, very, very complicated deal, guys. I can only imagine what it's like for you guys reacting to this call. And now you could probably see how this turned into a $45,000 deal because there's so many moving parts. First, we need to implement it into the business that they worked for in the past, that they have a very strong relationship for. Then we need to build them a custom agent for their business, which is scaling law firms using this system that they're using within their business. and then we need to build them a white labeled product that they can mass produce and sell to everyone. Honestly, this is what I live for. I love selling brand new AI solutions that has never been done before, and my developers can handle every task. So it makes it so fun because this business could do potentially $100,000 to $500,000 a month in revenue, and I do get a cut of that. We'll talk about it later on, but that's the cool stuff about running this business model. You never run into the same thing. In other business models, you'll hop on the same sales call over and over again. You're a marketing agency. Okay, we want to scale your business. We'll spend this much on ads. We'll have these systems in place and we'll be good to go. With this, you never have the same sales call twice, and you have the upside potential to have 45, 50, even 60K deals up front with a monthly retainer package as well. Okay, so really quickly here, I wanna show you the pricing sheet that we actually sent to the client before they sent us the money to show, okay, this is how much each agent costs and the breakdowns of why they costed that much. So as you can see here, it was sent September 2nd, 2025. So obviously I didn't just make this right now. We've been actively working with the client for over 5 months now, and it's been a very good partnership. And here's just a little message that we sent to them before sending them the pricing sheet. Basically just outlining that this is more of a partnership. Like I said earlier, they're white labeling this product and selling it to as many other businesses as they can after they implement it into their warm network and their own business. So basically just outlining the synergy between our teams and then how we plan to automate their entire marketing process from click to close. So starting with the custom CRM using Go High Level, along with the website, 3-step funnel, all set up within 30 days. And then we start implementing the AI agents thereafter. And then you could see right here, we always 100% of the time require a deposit. So we charge $5,500 for this specific job. And it just ensures that the entire project goes smoothly, because a lot of the time these clients want to pay weekly or monthly. So they're not going to pay $45,000 up front. But it's also, we're not gonna build out everything and only get the payment after we complete the job. So it just ensures, okay, we got a little bit of money up front. We charge every single week a couple grand, and we'll get this done in a few months. Okay, so that brings us right into the PDF. So starting out, and the most important thing about this build was the outbound voice agent. Basically trained, tested on hundreds of hours of call data from setting calls, so that when that lead goes through the pipeline, we know we're gonna convert them. The outbound agent was the basis of this job, and it was basically the foundation, right? That is what the unique mechanism is within the marketing business that they're trying to create, centered around attorneys. And they're not technical at all, so they want us to be a big part of their business as well, and that's where the CRM comes in. They want us to manage the CRM, build it, make sure everything's flowing smoothly, so that's $7,500 up front. And last but not least, for the initial click to close build out, the 3-step funnel. So this means type forms, landing pages, VSLs, anything you would need to help capture that lead and then book them into a sales call. And then down here, they wanted us to run custom email sequences every single month, and this has been crushing for them, so we charge $2,000. I know you're looking at this $20,000 full custom website and saying, Zach, how did you sell a website that expensive? I didn't even think these clients were looking for a website, and neither did we. That's the crazy part of this entire process, is that this wasn't a $45,000 deal to begin with. We started with the highest leverage moves that we could implement, that being the funnel, VSL, landing page, outbound agent, email sequences, and then after their business started to make money, they wanted to reinvest, and they wanted a very nice website that connected to everything, and that's where this came in. And it's not just the website, there's a bunch of different integrations that we did for them, SEO optimization, there's so much that went into actually marketing it in order to get them at the top of their search terms. And last but not least, they wanted a conversational AI email assistant, or better known as an email classification system, essentially to help optimize the white labeled product so that every client that they work with, they can also offer this email assistant to. Coming down here is what actually went into the monthly retainer. So first of all, there's an experienced media buyer. Like I said, these guys are creating a marketing company for themselves. So they were asking me a ton of questions about AI and marketing, and I showed them some of my ads and campaigns, and they wanted to get in touch with my media buyer because he's an absolute killer. From there, they actually started working together, so we threw in a $3,000 monthly retainer for him to be able to help them them with their marketing. Next, we sold them an AI content package, meaning that they're posting twice a day. We handle all their content utilizing AI because a lot of these business owners don't like to be on camera. And I know that a lot of us can tell the difference between AI and not, but a lot of these attorney offices can run campaigns and post content that's completely generated by AI. And last but not least, $500 a month just to look over their CRM, make sure everything's going well and optimize it. And then down here, this is actually where we have made the most amount of money from this project because like I said, they're white labeling this to as many businesses as they can. And every single one that they're trying to sell this to for $20,000, $30,000 because it's a full system, we get $3,000 for the voice agent add-on. We get another $3,000 for building them a custom CRM. And then on top of that, if we want to build them a funnel, we get $2,250. And now you could probably see how this turned into a $45,000 deal because there's so many moving parts. First, we need to implement it into the business that they worked for in the past, that they have a very strong relationship for. Then we need to build them a custom agent for their business, which is scaling law firms using this system that they're using within their business. And then we need to build them a white labeled product that they can mass produce and sell to everyone. Honestly, this is what I live for. I love selling brand new AI solutions that has never been done before. And my developers can handle every task. So it makes it so fun because this business could do potentially $100,000 to $500,000 a month in revenue. And I do get a cut of that. We'll talk about it later on. But that's the cool stuff about running this business model. You never run into the same thing. In other business models, you'll hop on the same sales call over and over again. You're a marketing agency. Okay, we want to scale your business. We'll spend this much on ads. We'll have these systems in place and we'll be good to go. With this, you never have the same sales call twice and you have the upside potential to have 45, 50, even 60K deals up front with a monthly retainer package as well. If you guys are actually serious about starting an AI agency, and I hope a lot of you guys are because you're this far into the video, you need to set up deals like this that make you money on the back end. You see my videos all the time. I preach getting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 AI agent packages up front. But if you could also make money with the monthly retainer as well as white labeling the product so that your clients are making you more money from them getting clients and they're basically doing another step of outreach for you, that's how you can scale your business to $100,000 to $200,000 a month. Overall, this was a pretty crazy deal and it was very fun for me to get to sell because you don't see this every day. They came to me not having a business, being a licensed sales rep for an attorney. From there, they said, you know what, we want to start a marketing business where we sell your system that you built for us and our friend's law firm to a bunch of businesses that we know because we know the pain points that these attorney offices have. If you guys have any questions on this specific deal, please let me know in the comments. I know it is a very unique case and not that many people talk about selling big AI agent packages. A lot of the time it's one-off AI receptionists or quoting agents, which are very good, but these packages are truly what make you the most amount of money. Like I said, any questions, let me know and I'm happy to answer. So in this video, I'm going to condense everything I've learned in the last 2.5 years into 6 actionable steps you can use to launch, grow, and scale your AI agency in only a couple weeks. First, we're going to find the niche that you're going to serve. A lot of people get this backwards, but the niche you're serving actually determines the agent you're going to eventually sell, not the other way around. Second, once we find that niche and the type of businesses we want to offer these AI agents to, we're going to find the specific agent that helps fix those pain points the best. Third, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to start an online business right now in 2026 using tools like Lovable for your website. Step 4 will be all about outreach. I'm going to show you exactly how to get leads using 3 different strategies. In step 5, I'm going to show you exactly how to conduct a sales and onboarding call. Essentially, how are you going to pitch your AI service to these business owners? In step 6, I'm going to show you exactly how to build out and develop these AI agents with no technical experience. Now listen, I've been in the AI agent space for years now, and trust me firsthand when I tell you, the space is rapidly changing. AI tools like Vappy, Retell, Lovable, and even GPT-5 have made the process of starting an AI agency from scratch incredibly easy. Nowadays, it's actually a reality for people to break into the AI space without any coding experience. It really has never been easier for a beginner to get their first customer and sell their first AI agent because, put it simply, Business owners are seeing the value of AI, they're seeing it transform their daily operations, and they want to implement it. With that being said, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to set everything up in just an hour. But before we jump in, there's one more thing I want to make sure that you guys understand. The AI industry, especially for businesses, is growing incredibly fast. So there's no more excuse of not knowing how to code or I'm not a technical person, because the AI space is genuinely wide open for anyone. So those who are going to be successful in 2026 are going to be the ones that take action right now. With that being said, it's time to get off the sidelines and start creating the business and the life you want. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is find our niche, and this step is really easy to overcomplicate. The biggest mistake I see brand new beginners making is thinking that they need to find a brand new niche or market that no one has ever found before. The truth is, the more boring and tested the niche is, the better it is for finding your first customer. They have their pain points. They know what they deal with on a daily basis, so AI can help them. So as a beginner, the right niche needs to check all three of these boxes. First, the niche needs to be profitable. It needs to make a ton of money. It's crucial that you're not looking at a niche that has razor thin margins or makes no money. Second, they need to already pay for services like marketing, maybe a website, maybe someone to run all their ads. They need to have shown that they are looking to invest into their business to actually grow it and scale it. This goes without saying, but if there's not a direct way to implement AI into the business, then it's probably not a very great niche. To be successful with AI, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You need to solve problems for businesses who can make money. So when it comes to actually picking your niche, I think there's a few different categories that you should start with. And I'll go a little deeper into this later on when I go into outreach, but I think the best place to start for beginners will always be with local businesses. There's obviously a ton of different niches within the local business category, but if you have some inside knowledge on a specific industry, you should definitely leverage that as a beginner. However, the overall best place to start will always be businesses that get a ton of calls every single day. The reason being, off the gate, they're already facing a problem that we know we can solve using AI. And then later on, once we learn a little bit more about their business, we can upsell them on different agents. One group of businesses that will always have problems that AI can solve is the niche of service-based businesses. Let's go over some examples of what makes this the perfect niche and also how you can find the right businesses without any fancy tools. For example, I'm gonna look up plumbers in a random location. So let's say Dallas, Texas. As you can see, all the businesses that come up have a ton of Google reviews. They also have get quote buttons, they have book appointment buttons, they even have get phone number buttons right next to their name. This is how you know they get a ton of calls every single day and provide a bunch of quotes. If we look at their Google business account a little more closely, we can see that most of these businesses rely solely off answering the phone calls. They have thousands of Google reviews, so you can now see the value of, say, a Google review agent pitching them to a local business who has way less reviews, saying, hey, look, if you want to get to the top of that page, you need to skyrocket your reviews. This agent can do that for you. Now, if we scroll down to check out some of these websites, we can get a better idea of how these businesses actually operate. And as you can see on this very first website, it's obvious that they put a lot of time, effort, and money into this. They paid someone a bunch of money to build this out perfectly because they care so much about their online presence. And look, the very first button they have is a call now button on their website. This shows how big of a chunk of their leads come from phone calls. Now, when we go in and pitch, say, a full-time AI receptionist, it makes so much sense. Works 24/7, 1/5 the price, can route calls, can answer multiple calls at once so no one ever gets put on hold. And look, on this website, once again, a phone number right at the top of the screen telling you to call in. Guys, the reason for this is because so much of their volume is over the phone. And that's why you can make so much money selling these AI receptionists, because it saves the business owner way more time, way more money, because they're not paying a full-time employee and they can pay you for a one-time setup fee. And these businesses are also perfect candidates for a quoting agent, because think about it. They're answering the phone. They're a service-based business. They're getting a ton of questions. How much is it going to cost for you to fix my car? They have to find the part suppliers, write everything down, write down their labor rates. Guys, all this takes time, and these agents can do it way better. And I guarantee you, if you look up plumbers in your local area, you'll see the same exact pattern. They're spending a bunch of time on the phone, they're spending a bunch of time giving quotes. You can replace both these tasks with these two different agents. Guys, this is why I believe these service-based businesses are the best for you guys to start with, because with beginners, you want someone that's already well polished. You want to work with a business that's positioned well for you to go in there and implement your AI agents with no hassle. And these service-based businesses are already willing to pay money for their online presence. They understand how valuable one phone call is. So they're going to understand how valuable these AI agents that take care of those tasks for them are. And look, the same will be true if we look at HVAC companies in Dallas. Again, we see that the businesses at the top all have thousands of ratings and reviews because they understand how important their online presence is. And if we go to a website, we can see a similar pattern of phone call and book appointment call to actions all over the screen. Don't get me wrong, hair salons, restaurants, and real estate offices will work, but I think getting started with these blue collar service-based businesses is the best way to go. The reason being, they exist in every town. Once you work with a ton of, say, brake repair businesses, you understand that they need to deal with a ton of phone calls and quotes. So you can copy and paste these solutions and sell them to a ton of different businesses. My specific advice with this niche is start broad, cast a wide net, try to work with every single service-based business you can. Once you find out, okay, electricians are the best niche for me, that's where I find the most success, then niche down and create one solution just for them. The second step comes right after we found our niche, and we use the data we've gathered around that niche to build one specific AI agent that attacks their pain points. When it comes to service-based businesses, there are a couple of different routes that we can take. A lot of people actually get stuck here because they think they need to build something super complex. But as a beginner, the goal shouldn't be to build the most complex agent you possibly can. Instead, it should be to provide the most value. Let me give you a quick example. Going back to the service-based businesses, when we think about the challenges that they face, it boils down to a few different things. Answering a high volume of phone calls, spending hours writing up and shooting out quotes to potential customers, managing appointment booking, and overall gaining new customers. So to solve these problems, there are a few different specific AI agents that we should be offering. We could start by offering an AI receptionist that answers all the calls a business gets throughout the day. And then we could implement an AI quoting agent that saves the business owners hours every single day. We could also build a Google review agent that reaches out to past and current customers, asking them, hey, how was your service? And would you like us to build a Google review? Remember what I showed you when we were shuffling through those businesses' websites and Google Workspace pages? The ones at the top were the businesses in which that had the most Google reviews and ratings. So this Google review agent directly skyrockets the reviews, therefore making them at the top, boosting their online presence. The best part is you can actually combine these agents and upsell and upsell and upsell. Think about the AI receptionist that answers the calls that has the knowledge base of, say, the quoting agent, so it can give live quotes on that call. I'll get more into the development of these agents and how to build them later on, but for now, remember, pick an agent that actually provides value to a business, saving them money or time, because that's where you're going to make the most amount of money. Now that we've picked a niche and decided and found the best AI agents to sell to these different businesses, it's finally time to bring your agency to life and build out a fully functioning website using AI. At this current stage of your business, your website really only has two main jobs. First way is simply to have a place in which business owners can find you and actually get in touch with you, right? You're going to be doing a ton of cold calls, a ton of cold emails, a ton of cold DMs, and these business owners need to be routed somewhere. You need to say, hey, look, if you're interested in this AI receptionist, check out my website and book a meeting with me there. The second job is to clearly explain what it is that you're actually offering, because a lot of the time you're pitching these business owners on a 1 to 2 minute phone call. You can't say all the features of these AI agents. You can't tell them exactly how it's going to help them. So you can send them to your website that has all the information so they can say, hey, look, wow, this actually provides a ton of value for me. There's no need to complicate building out your website. A simple, clean, professional website that actually provides value is gonna be a million times better than a website that has a million different things everywhere and shooting a bunch of different pop-ups at your face. That's not gonna get these business owners actually interested in your services. And thankfully, you guys don't have to pay $5,000 for a website like I did 2 years ago. AI can, no joke, build you out a perfect website in a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna show you the exact process step by step. Okay, Okay, so for the website, I highly recommend using Lovable. It's clean, it's free, it builds you out a perfectly good website that's super smooth without any hassles. And you can genuinely make it custom exactly for your niche and exactly for your agency. Just like with any LLM, you simply have to prompt Lovable exactly what you're looking for. So I'm gonna simply say, build me a sleek website for my AI agency. Keep it simple, make a button for people to be able to book calls with me, and a section for the services I offer and the solutions I provide. So this is obviously a very basic prompt, right? But just like ChatGPT, we can keep having it make edits and revisions until we get it to the point where we like it. And as you can see, Lovable is starting to build out the website. And as you can see, it gave us a random name just because we didn't put one in. So obviously you're gonna have to choose a business name, and when you do so, you're gonna wanna use that. And then look here, there's 2 headers for services and solutions. And for services, you can show exactly what you're offering. And then for solutions, it's good to show some case studies of maybe past solutions you built or past clients you've worked with. But as a beginner, I personally recommend you just simply build out a couple of agents and put them here to show business owners that you provide a quality product. And of course, we have the header that will be something like this, but you can adapt it to your business. And then the only CTA button we really need is just simply book a call. Because remember, this website only serves a couple of purposes. And one of them is simply just having a place where business owners can book a call with you and speak to you about implementing these agents. And then what I would do is link this button to Calendly where they can actually book a call with you. Calendly is like a meeting software. In this section, you could either talk about the current products that you're offering or maybe even tailor it to your specific niche. That way customers will actually get an idea of what you have to offer. Now, I would be careful not to put too much information in this section just because you don't want to confuse the customer or overcomplicate them. You want them to book a call with you as quickly as possible. Using this format, you could give a quick overview of how you actually run your business and how you're going to help the client. For example, step 1 could be you learn about their problems. Step 2 could be you deliver the AI agent and you actually start to develop the product for them based off their pain points. And step 3 could be you actually implement the agent, get feedback, and then implement more agents later on down the line. And of course, the book a free call button. And honestly, I don't think it hurts to move this button closer to the top because getting a call booked is our main priority. So is this the perfect website? Obviously not, right? But with a little editing, it'll do exactly what you need. And there's no need, sorry to say need twice, to overcomplicate the building out and the process of your website and spend a ton of time doing that before you're actually getting clients. That's what so many people do wrong. They want to build out their business, they want to get their LLC, they want to build their website, but they're not bringing in any money, they're not making money. Why have a perfect website? If you take anything from this current section, websites are simply a tool to build trust with our potential customers and get them to book a call. Now that we have the website set up, we need to determine how we're actually going to do outreach, because the website can be perfect, but without leads and without business owners actually seeing it, it's useless. There's a bunch of different tiers to outreach strategies, right? My agency, for example, we're higher up. As your business scales, the way you do outreach is going to vastly change. For example, as a beginner, I'm going to give you 2 to 3 outreach strategies that are perfect for you getting started. And then as you scale up, you can do things like run ads, run webinars, all that stuff. But eventually you're going to be putting money into the business to get leads. The first strategy and the overall best strategy I would recommend for people starting from scratch is warm outreach. With warm outreach, you're basically going and reaching out to people that you already know, saying, hey, look, can we hop on a call? I want to learn about how your business runs. I'm starting this AI company. We already know each other. Could we talk for a little bit? The hardest part about running any business from zero is actually getting people to hear you out on whatever product you're selling. That's why starting with warm outreach is such a great strategy. You're talking to people that you already know, so therefore already trust you, so therefore could potentially implement one of your AI agents. And if they don't seem interested in actually paying for it, maybe because you're brand new to the business model and they don't trust your level of expertise yet, offer to build it for free. These first few wins and case studies of actually working with real live business owners will give you so much credibility later on down the line. And that's why free projects are such a good way to start in this space. Don't get greedy and try to charge early right away, because people are going to say, hey, look, can I see some businesses you've worked with in the past? And because you got greedy, because you tried to make a couple of grand right away and lost those deals, you won't have any case studies to show for it. Here's a quick walkthrough on how I organize my warm outreach strategies. And guys, don't think warm outreach and talking to people that you already know as handouts. This is the most valuable way to actually implement AI agents getting started. Build trust, get those first couple case studies, and then pitch it to people you don't know in other businesses in your local area and say, hey, look, I've already worked with a couple companies. You can trust me in this space. So we're just gonna pop over to Google Sheets or Excel. Really, either one is fine, just whatever one you prefer. We're not gonna overcomplicate this because there's no need to. First, we're gonna make a few headers, which are name, phone number, connection, how that person could actually help you, and then the status of whether or not you've talked to them yet. Let's just make this example with 3 people, but when you fill this out, you should be shooting for around 20 to 30 names. And guys, I know what you're saying. I don't know 20 or 30 people, but trust me, you do. Friends, dads who run businesses, uncles, friends who run businesses. You can find so many warm connections you never would have thought of. So add their info and then add how you know them and how you might be able to potentially help them. It's important to consider how they could actually help out you. Because honestly, AI is a brand new space. So when you're on the phone with them, they might not understand your business or what you're actually trying to offer. So saying, hey, could you help me out? Could I ask a couple questions? Could we hop on a quick call? Is super valuable. Because even if they don't understand right now, think about how much knowledge and expertise you're gonna gain off explaining to them how AI agents work, why they're so valuable, and then eventually implementing one for them. Mark this status as red or green depending on whether or not you've talked to them yet, and then leave a note after the call, basically outlining your next move. Do you have to follow up with them? Did they not answer the phone, etc.? Even though these people might not become your customers later on down the line, it's a great way to build knowledge and expertise and actually feel comfortable talking to people about these AI agents. And most importantly, the key of warm outreach, at the end of every single call you have with someone, ask if they know 3 other people who might be interested in this AI service. This part is so important because that's how you multiply your network from 10 to 30 to even 100 people, all from warm leads, because they're basically referring you to people they already know. I really want you guys to understand how important warm outreach is. When I was first starting my AI agency, leveraging my warm connection and my warm network was essential to me getting my first client. You'd be surprised how many people you can actually meet by asking people that you already know to connect you with other people that they know. And after, and only after you've done your warm outreach, then you can try things like cold calling and cold email. And when it comes to cold calling, it's best to start in your local area. And it's super important to incorporate something that makes you personable in your script. Say you go to that local college that everyone would know of. Maybe you work at that place that everyone goes to. Make it personalized, make them be able to connect to you, because then it's gonna make them wanna hop on a meeting with you 10 times more. You can't do 5 cold calls and expect to book some meetings. You need to do 100 every single day, book 3 meetings a day, and then scale up to the point where you can start running ads because you're making so much money. You can get a lot of businesses' phone numbers by simply going to their website or just finding it online, but you'll find that you run into a lot of receptionists because these businesses are already scaled up. One trick to get around this is using a lead scraping tool like Apollo to find your leads, where you can actually filter out and only call business owners or decision makers. You can, no joke, use these lead scraping tools to find hundreds upon hundreds of leads. I'll walk you through a quick demo of how to actually use these tools. So this is Apollo, and as you can see, there are a ton of different functions. You can look up people and companies, you can send emails and calls. It also helps with meeting flow, deal tracking, conversations, and more. But for this walkthrough, we're specifically going to use it to scrape leads and search for people. There's a lot of different options. Job titles can be useful, but we're not going to use that right now. For now, we'll start with location. We'll use Dallas, Texas as an example, and then we'll move on to employees and other filters. When you're starting out, it's usually best to target companies with anywhere from 1 to 10 employees, and if you scale up a little bit, maybe 11 to 20 employees as well. Industry and keywords can also be useful, but the most important filter here is this one, where we can use the SIC code. SIC codes are essentially how different businesses are categorized, and you can find a list of them online. For example, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning is under code 1711. Once we select that, we're down to 216 results, and these are all people who would be great to call. These are all very strong leads, and while not all of them will have their phone number available, it's still a great way to find leads and actually filter out where the business owners are actually hiding. And on top of that, you can also adjust the filters to focus specifically on people who do have their phone numbers available. And as you can see, these contacts are CEOs, presidents, and project managers. These are not receptionists that you're talking to. You can filter out the people who make the decisions and can say, look, I want to get this AI agent implemented right now. If you utilize these strategies effectively, you'll definitely be able to land your first client. But guys, remember, these clients are often $5, $10, even $15,000. So please start with warm outreach, build your knowledge, build your expertise, sound confident about these AI agents, and then you could move into cold calling and cold emailing, but only after you've gotten your couple wins, maybe a couple free deals, then you're ready. It's so much easier to practice talking about your AI agents and what you're offering to people who already know you and trust you, so they can give you honest feedback. What are you doing wrong? What are you doing right? So then when you go out to that cold outreach, you're actually going to succeed. Once you've established some credibility, it's only up from there. You've gotten your first couple clients, made $10, $20, even $30,000. Then you could start running ads, putting money into ads, these campaigns, actually having the leads come to you. You can also get a ton of referrals because you're going to be working with a bunch of different businesses. They're going to say, wow, you did a great job for me. Work with my friend. Step 5 is one of the most overlooked process when growing and scaling an AI agency from zero. This step includes the sales and onboarding calls. A lot of people think that success in the AI space comes with selling bigger and bigger and more high-ticket AI agents, but that's actually not the case. It actually comes with building a strong relationship and foundation with your first client. I promise you, you will make 10 times more money in the long run if you build a strong relationship with your first couple clients, deliver a good product, don't overcharge them, and help them fix one thing in their business very well. From there, they're actually going to trust you because you built such a strong, genuine relationship with them. When you go out and say, hey, look, I have a brand new AI agent. Would you also be interested in this? They're going to say, heck yeah, the first agent you built was amazing. So during the sales call, you shouldn't be pitching AI as hard as you can and overwhelming the client with all these technical terms. Your job on that call is to simply do 4 things incredibly well, and I promise you, you'll close the deal. Step 1 is actually understanding how they run their business on a day-to-day business. Actually understanding, okay, where's your role as the business owner? What do you do on a day-to-day basis? Being genuinely curious so that you could actually provide a good AI agent. Step 2, when they're rambling on and on about their business because you're asking all these great questions and you're actually genuinely curious on how they run their business, they're gonna find pain points and bottlenecks for you to attack. Step 3 is when you actually position the AI agent as a solution to their problem. But remember, your job isn't to explain the technicalities of the agent, but instead to explain exactly how implementing this agent will fix their pain. You don't want to sell the business owner based off the capabilities and the features of the AI agent. You want to sell them based off, okay, how much time, how much money, how much effort is it going to save you on a day-to-day basis? And last but not least, step number 4, once you and the business owner are on the same page, you need to give them a detailed outline on the next steps moving forward. Pricing, timelines, what actually happens after the sales call. Because the worst possible thing that you could do is let a potential customer who is actually interested get cold and change their mind. That's simply all you have to do on this call, and I promise you, you will close so many deals. You don't have to hard pitch them. You don't have to pressure them into anything. Become a genuine friend to them, build a good relationship, provide value, and you'll crush it. As soon as you hear a yes from the customer basically saying, yep, what are the next steps? How do we actually move forward with getting this AI agent implemented? You immediately get them booked for an onboarding call. This call is very important in a different way from the sales call. On the onboarding call, you need to get all the information you or your developers actually need to build out these AI agents. On the onboarding call, your first order of business is obviously building that relationship with the client and strengthening it. Then you'll learn some more basic information about their business, things that you just couldn't get to on that first call, like what softwares they use, the specific CRM they use, things like that. And then third, learn exactly what they hope this AI agent will accomplish for their business to make it the best product they could ever get. For example, if you're building a quoting agent for them, it would be very important to get their internal pricing documents and things like that. This part of the process can be a hassle sometimes, but it's 100% important. You need this information to actually be able to build out the AI agent later on. And then lastly, I recommend actually recording this meeting. Trust me, it'll help a ton with development later on when you're building the agent to go back and look at all this information they gave you. So just implement Fathom Note Taker into your meeting. Now that you've essentially sold the customer and you understand their exact exact problems in the agent you need to build, it's time to actually go into that development stage and get that agent built out. Now, if you're like me and you're not a technical person whatsoever and you don't like to code, you like to sell, you like to run the business, all the things we've already talked about, there's really only two options for you. First, we can use no-code tools like Retell, Vappy, and Make.com. Super good, super easy to learn, and you could build really good agents on them. And it's honestly pretty simple and easy to learn how to build out these agents on these softwares. I personally just don't like to do any of the back-end work for my business. Like I said, I like to sell it, I like to run the business, and I like to bring in revenue for the company and then delegate the back-end work. And that's where the second option comes in, and I honestly think that you will have 10 times as much success actually running the business model this way than you would building out the agents yourself, selling it, doing all the outreach, and running everything by yourself. You essentially delegate the back-end work to a team of developers for a percentage of the cut. Let's say you sold a $10,000 AI agent, you could give a team of developers 20%. You still have an 80% profit margin. You sold them, you got the lead, you built the relationship with them, you delegate the back and they actually build out the agent for 20%, $2,000, and it's a win-win situation. Doing this not only takes the technical work off your hands, but it simplifies the business model and allows you to make more money by hopping on more sales call and allocating more time to actually running the business. Basically, all you have to do is run the business. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's pretty easy when you get it down. You hop on the sales call, you talk to the client about the specific AI agent they're looking for, pitch them on why it makes sense and why in the long term spending that 10 grand with you is going to save them so much time and money. And then you simply delegate the back end work. They'll do all the project, all the back end for you, and then you could sell another agent. And I know you're probably thinking, Zach, how do I find these developers? How do I find a team that I can trust to do the backend work so that I'm getting these referrals, so that I'm building a good relationship because I'm offering a good product to these clients? And I know it can be difficult. I've spent 2.5 years building out my team. I've had to fire so many people. So many people also do a shitty job. You can't cheap out with these things, but trust me, I got you guys. I'm looking for a couple of case studies. If you're interested in starting this business model, apply in the form below. Essentially, I'm offering full access to my team of developers, ads managers, everything you need to run the business. You simply need to, like I said, sell these agents and build these strong relationships, and all the back-end work is there for you. If you take anything away from this video, please let it be this. Building an AI agency and starting an AI business in 2026 does not require any technical expertise whatsoever. I would personally say there's actually a bigger opportunity for non-technical people who can sell, who can build relationships, who can actually build the business, and like I said, delegate the back end, because that's where you're going to make way more money. The people who win in the AI space aren't the ones who know the most about AI or build the most technical, complex automations. They're the ones who find a niche, find a problem, and offer a solution. If you go back and follow these 6 steps in order, you'll legit have everything you need to sign your first client, and you'll be building momentum as we speak. If this video helped clarify a path for you, please subscribe, please show the support. It's a brand new channel, it would mean a lot to me. And like I said in the last video where I broke down a $12,000 AI agent deal live, every single step I'm showing you now, I did it live with call recordings. It was a really cool video. I'm willing to do any sort of video you guys are looking for in the AI space. Just comment, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.